Hi, and welcome to the S.J. Childs Show. I'm your host, S.J. Childs. The S.J. Childs Show brings value to families through education, resources, and lots of laughs, too, of course. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on our Facebook and our Instagram, S.J. Childs Show. Today we have a very special guest by the name of Jim Gavin. Jim owns a company called The Key of Awesome Music, which provides value to the community through instruction of music to people with neurological conditions, in group homes, residential homes, and he just believes in improving the quality of life through music. After the show, make sure to stick around to listen to our cover song created by Jim Gavin, Make This Moment Last. Enjoy the show. We're so happy to have you today. Today we have Jim Gavin, and I am going to let him tell you about his program and his company that he runs. He is a music teacher, and we are going to talk about some really exciting stuff today. So, Jim, thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Sarah. I appreciate it. It's always nice to connect with like-minded people like yourself. So yes, my name's Jim Gavin, and I run a company called Key of Awesome Music. It's kind of like an inside joke I had with one of the band members I was in many years ago, one of the bands I was in. But then it turned into like, oh, this kind of makes sense. So our program, right, it's kind of all over the place, but I'll try to draw it down a little bit so that it makes a little bit more sense in a cohesive, coherent way. So I started off as a side thing for many years while I was working at other nonprofits. I worked at this place called the Arc, and I think there's the Arcs like all over the country. Then I moved on to a company called Allies, which is the same sort of idea as the Arc. But before I got into all of that, I volunteered at a group home. It was so much fun to spend time with individuals who had developmental disabilities. They just like melted my heart. Honestly, I fell in love with them like almost immediately. And it's just been such a great learning experience. So that volunteer work made me want to get into somehow finding a way to get into the human services field and using music if I can to achieve some great things. And so my story is like, everybody's story is different. And I don't know how to read music, and I could play several instruments. It's a lot of fun, and we use these different instruments and things that I've learned along the way at volunteering at the Arc Mercer and at Allies. Both of those places took a chance on me. I have no real formal music training, but I can, like I said, I can play a bunch of these different instruments, and basically took a look at my resume, interviewed me, and said, look, we're looking to start a music program. And so I had to do it twice. I started a brand new music program at two different companies. So from scratch, they literally had nothing in place. And so that experience of having to create some sort of fun yet educational thing for people to look forward to, I made every day like a theme. And then that's kind of what helped form like a curriculum. So I kind of got this sense of how to create curriculums and how to work with people by being at these other companies. So it kind of gave me like the foundation of being able to do that when I was there. And, I'd have to run things by my manager or supervisor at the time. But it kind of gave me this sense like, geez, I can do this. Why can't I just do this on my own? So I got the itch, let's say, to start my own thing. And right now, currently, we support and serve those with different music sessions that could be one-on-one lessons on Zoom, kind of like we're doing right now, on guitar, piano, bass, ukulele, drums, percussion, and voice, mainly. We actually have 4 part-time contracted employees that help out because it's grown so much over the last couple of years that I only have so many, days and time open in the calendar. So, and there's a good need for it out where I am here in New Jersey. New Jersey, we mainly spend time with those in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. but mainly New Jersey and then a little bit into Pennsylvania. But since we've been doing things virtually now too, we've done sessions for places all over the country, which has been crazy. So yeah, like over the last year, we've done some sessions for people in Connecticut, Illinois, Georgia, Arizona, and Florida as well. And it's all virtual. These things are all virtual. So we get a Zoom up for the day program or a group home, and I'm there. And I got a thing I want to do for 30 minutes, and I try to get people involved and engaged. And of course, it's hard to do behind a computer, but I do my darndest. I try my best, and that's all we can ever do. All we can ever hope of anybody is to just try their best. And so, yeah, like I know this. That's just part of what we do. We also go into nursing homes and assisted living facilities, not so much now because of the pandemic, but we've done programs for those who have Alzheimer's and dementia. I've gone into drug and alcohol counseling centers. So this is all basically just using music to help people. It's a long-winded way of saying, I love to help people with music. I get a lot out of it. Yeah. I hope that these places and people get a lot of it. I feel like they do because they have me back continually. So it's been such a cool experience so far. I love networking. I love meeting new people and making a difference in people's lives. And I kind of thrive on being in the improvisational space. So I know I went off on a tangent there, but that's just how I do. So
I love it. I think it's so unique, and it's so important and special for that community. And I love that you're involving all of these age groups, because I think that early learning of music is, key and so important, but also the aspect, like you're talking about, using it for Alzheimer's, dementia. And I'm sure that people listening have seen, those videos of people who used to be dancers and then hear music and then, all of a sudden get up and dance out of nowhere or sing something. And it's just that power that music brings and that magic kind of that it has to really awaken our senses. And I love that. I love what you're doing. So yeah, tell us about, you said the age groups, things like that, but kind of what do you do for specific age groups? So say I have, a young child. What does that kind of look like for you in teaching them?
Well, if we're going to do a one-on-one lesson, it's real basic. I mean, we just start off with, okay, how many strings are on the guitar? And we think about, okay, what's that? How many? Oh, there's 6. Oh, okay, so what's a fret? And then I explain, like, that's the part that goes up and down. And we start very basic like that. So we get our handle on, like, what is this instrument and like what this entails? Because if I just go into, okay, we're going to put our finger here, they're going to be like, well, where is that? Like what? So it's like kind of a guide that we can help people through an instrument like a guitar. On piano, I've actually color coded my piano. Yeah. And so I teach by color because I never want to assume anybody can read. I can't make that assumption. I've run into a lot of people, those who have developmental disabilities and not even just little kids that don't know how to read yet, and I can't assume that they know what C is, mm-hmm. And so I teach by color for kids especially. For group stuff, we do, I've done programs at libraries, which is a lot of fun. A program at a library would just be singing fun, silly kids songs. And I even throw in, I think this is what makes it a little different, is I'll throw in songs for the adults too. Like I'll play Wild Thing because it talks about loving somebody in there. Wild Thing, I think I love you. And I compare it to, aren't all little kids wild things, And so I can actually get to the adults too, because I'm not just playing Old MacDonald Had a Farm and songs like that for 30 minutes. It's like, yes, Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Yes, this song. Oh, yes, maybe we could do You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story. Yeah. That's kind of like for adults and for kids. So I try to get songs like that if we're doing a group, that gets the parents involved too. And that they're more involved to listen and not be on their phones or whatnot,
Yeah, right.
And in addition to that, I bring instruments with me. So I'll bring small egg shakers and small little maracas and small little tambourines. I have like a big bag of instruments I bring. So that's a lot of fun. So it just gets people involved and engaged, especially for kids. Yeah.
Definitely. And then what about the older age group? I guess you probably do like a young adult age group, um I'm sure that they really get a lot out of it. Yeah, but that's a lot of fun to see that.
It is. And basically anything that's on the radio right now works. Or even, you know, I found that the young adults, they really gravitate towards like Disney and Broadway, like show tunes type songs. So if I can throw out, you know, a song from The Lion King or Aladdin that like is like, whoa, cool, you know, and or a song that might be on the radio right now goes over really well in the young adult group. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then what kind of music what kind of lessons, or what does it look like when you go into the nursing homes and it's kind of an older geriatric crowd?
Yeah, so I really just cater to what I feel like everybody might enjoy. So I'll go into a nursing home, assisted living facility, or something along those lines, and I'll start off with, you know, Frank Sinatra tune, or I'll go into Elvis, because you can't go wrong with Elvis there, or anything like of that era from like the 40s and 50s, one-off singles that people might know. I'll get to know the people there. For instance, I'll give you an example. There's one place I used to go to called Care One. I think they have them all over the place, Care One. But there's a woman there who's German. She was from Germany. And so I decided I was going to learn how to play Edelweiss, which is a song from The Sound of Music. Okay. And so I would sing that song, and she would start telling me a story right after, every single time. So it tapped back into that memory. And so I've seen some cool documentaries. Alive Inside, I think, is one of them. And it's just a great, there's a couple books there's a bunch of books about music and the mind and how important it is for memory and movement for that matter too. And so, yeah, I just try to cater to people's age groups and what I feel like they might like. And then I'll even ask the group, hey, what do we like here? You know, just because I'm playing Elvis and Johnny Cash and people of that nature doesn't mean you're going to like it. Like, who's your favorite artist? So I'll do that too at wherever I am. I'll ask, like, even the little kids, what's your favorite song right now? Oh, you like Baby Shark? Let's do that. You know, or, oh, you like this song from Taylor Swift? I don't know it, but I'll learn it for the next time I come, you know? And so, yeah.
And now you said something earlier that I'm going to touch back on, because you're playing all of these, you know, on the radio now and all of these older songs, but you don't read music.
No, I don't. No.
So tell us, how do you do it?
Oh, man. I'm a very visual learner. So when I first started learning guitar, my dad plays a little bit. He had this old guitar hanging out in the corner, and I asked him, like, can you teach me a few things? So when I was 16, and I just watched where he put his fingers, and I could just do it. He would put his fingers like this to play like a D, for instance, and I'd be like, okay, where is that? All right, then I would just do it and play. And there's something called guitar tablature, which is kind of like say right here, right on a guitar, that's like the second fret. It would say like number 2 on the E string. Okay. So that's like, you would play that string like once if it said it once. If it said it 4 times, you'd play it 4 times. So like, it's not really reading music by any means. It's like basically using like a mathematical way of looking at music. So I'm very mathematical. So I do really well remembering numbers. Yeah. So I kind of teach some people through that too, if they seem like they gravitate towards numbers. And I'll be like, all right, we're going to play 555. 3. It almost turns into like somebody's phone number, you know, like
along with things. It sounds like really good at following along.
Yeah,
that's so exciting.
So I've just been able to do that on many instruments. It's a gift. I do believe it is one of the gifts, if probably the biggest gift that I've been given, is to be able to pick up an instrument and know what to do with it. Really,
that's incredible.
I don't know how to explain it other than that.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. What would do you give advice to parents, or, you know, kind of ways to start their kids getting interested in music? Like, what do you say to the parents or the, you know, people that want to come to your lessons? How do you give them advice when they're sending them back home? Like, what do they need to do?
Oh, man. Well, first step is really see if your child is interested, because I will see some people just get real excited, but the kid doesn't really care about it at all. And it's more for the parent. So that's like one, is like, make sure your kid is really interested in it. And another one is start simple, you know, you don't have to, if you want to get an instrument for your child, I almost encourage people to try out ukulele first. Or piano really first, because piano's a great basic thing to learn about real music foundation. And plus you get that immediate response like, ding, oh, I did that. It sounds good, you know. On guitar, when you start, it's not going to sound so good at first because you got to press down real hard. It hurts. It literally hurts to play guitar when you first start playing because you're not used to how hard you have to dig into the strings. So piano is a good one to just get that tactile sort of motion going on and feeling good about, oh, I made that note. Oh, that sounds good. And you know, you just do more of what sounds good than what sounds bad, you know. And then if somebody comes to me and says, I want to play guitar, I'm like, how about ukulele first? And I say that because ukulele, like this is a big instrument. Ukulele is like 1/3 the size of this. It's a lot lighter. There's less strings, and there's certain chords you only need one finger to play. So right off the bat, you build confidence on an instrument. You still learn music, and you're getting a little bit of what it's like to play guitar, but it's not as difficult. And then you can maybe graduate to the guitar. So that's what I would really say, you know, and like, don't really, my advice I've given to people is don't try to pressure your child into doing an instrument. Yes, it's good to practice when you get one and start practicing, but just let the child maybe come to you and say, Mommy, Daddy, like, I really like the drums. Could I play the drums? And then maybe just buy him a pair of drumsticks and a drum pad first, you know, because that's cheaper and it's not as loud. And then when they get good, then maybe it's time to, like, on their own, if they're exploring it a lot, then maybe, okay, maybe let's get lessons. Okay, maybe let's get a small drum set. Okay, maybe let's get a big drum set now. You know, and kind of, there's steps. You don't have to go for the home run right away.
I like that a lot. And, you know, I was telling you before about some of my son's amazing abilities. And yes. He really loves jingles. And he's, you know, taught himself by sound. And he loves the jingles. And it was funny because I was thinking about earlier how it was the same progression. It was those little tiny book keyboards, you know, and he would just play all these songs on them, songs that weren't in the books. And then it was, can I have a keyboard? Or, you know, his way of asking, he's still learning communication. So we would get him, you know, a little, you know, cheap keyboard from Walmart or whatever. And then came I need an 88 key keyboard. And he specifically was asking, he was like, I need the 88 keys. It's so important for him. And so we did it. We went down to the music store. We picked him up a really great keyboard. And now he'll play classical music that he's taught himself. T-Mobile jingle, Nintendo jingles.
Well, what's great about the jingles is they're not really long songs. Yeah. So it's a great way to, maybe I can remember these string of notes in a row. It's good for memory. It's good for confidence right away, because jingles are 30 seconds long, a minute long, yeah. You know, so, and it's cool. You could like impress people with that, you know? And so it's a good thing all around. Like jingles are a lot of fun, you know? So.
I love how you said that. And I love that you bring up the confidence levels, because that is it's so important. And it's so amazing when you see that click and I got this and I can do this. I love that part of a child's learning process.
Well, because then they're more inclined to come back to it if they feel like they're doing good at it, you know?
So true.
And if you start off doing something super complicated, you're just going to get discouraged. Even I will. And I'm an adult. I've been doing it for 20 years, you know, like, so yeah.
I love it. So we were talking about what kind of activities can parents do at home. And like you said, maybe get a drum, you know, a small drum set, or maybe like a small keyboard. How about like just singing songs off the radio?
Simple enough. Yeah.
I think that's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Personally, my family is probably like, it's
That's enough, Mom. But that's okay. They could suffer through it.
Yeah, you know, exactly. We have YouTube at our fingertips. You just pop on YouTube and how many versions of songs are on there, you know? And, you know, nowadays, if we're at home, you know, even homemaking instruments could be a lot of fun because then you're turning it into two different things. You're doing an arts and crafts project that turns into an instrument that you can use. You know, so like an empty water bottle, and I usually have them laying around, but not right now. But like an empty water bottle, you open it up, put some rice in it, boom, you got an egg shaker or a maraca, you know? Or like an Easter egg, like those plastic Easter eggs. Open it up, put some rice, put some beans. You could even put little sand or dirt in there, and like, boom, you got an egg shaker, you know? Take some sticks from the backyard, like thicker sticks, bring them inside, not to create a mess inside, maybe just two of them, and use them against like a notepad, you know? That could be a drum pad, you know? So you're not buying anything really, you're just using nature around you. I'll even like tilt this down so you could even see, like, right, I got this. That could be a basic way of learning how to play drums and keeping rhythm.
That is so easy for people to do. I mean, it's something that, like you said, go outside, get something from nature, build something from your home. Then it's not only a music, but it's an arts and craft. It's creativity, imagination, all wrapped into one beautiful thing.
Yeah, you know, and you'd be surprised some of the cool things you could come up with. I saw a TEDx video. This has nothing to do with those who have developmental disabilities, but it's just fun about being creative with instruments. And this is what we're talking about here. I saw a guy on a TEDx. I don't know if it was a TED Talk or TEDx. They're both related. But he made a flute out of a carrot. He just took a really thick carrot and drilled holes in the top of it and then drilled out each end. And then you could use it like a flute. Nice. And it was amazing. I'm like, how genius and creative that is, you know? And then afterwards you could eat it.
If you're hungry, yeah. Play a little song, take a little bite. I love it. Healthy snack and a healthy song.
But I would have never thought of that. Let me use a food to make an instrument. It's really cool, you know? So the possibilities are nearly endless with this. So
I love that. Well, I asked you to think about a funny story that you might remember or you could tell us. So I want you to tell us a funny story if you have one.
Sure. Well, like I said before, it might not be that funny for everybody, but it was funny. It's funny to me because, you know, it's like the relationships we build with people, right? When you have a good relationship with somebody, you have like little inside jokes. So it's more of like an inside joke that is something that kind of came up a lot. It's not really a funny story, but more of an inside joke that I had with one of the individuals I used to spend time with when I worked at Allies, a company I mentioned earlier. So I would, in my travels at this company, I went to several group homes within a month. We would do a music night every week. And the music night was basically me showing up and just playing a bunch of songs, taking requests, passing out instruments. It was like a social event. Other local group homes would come to it, to that one group home. They'd order pizza. It was like cool. It was like a hangout party with music. And I enjoyed it a lot. And then we did one really big one a month where we'd invite all the group homes from the state to this facility that they would rent out. And it would be like a concert pretty much. Super fun. But the more of the group homes every week music night, and there's this one I would go to in North Jersey. Every time I showed up, I could be an hour early. I could be 20 minutes early. There's one girl who always tell me I was late. So I'd show up, be like, and she didn't seem so nice about it at first. She was like, "You're late," you know, just angry, bitter, like, "You're late." And I was like, "All right." Her name was Carmen. She doesn't mind me saying it. As long as I don't say a last name, we still keep confident. Yeah. So I'm like, "Okay, Carmen, yeah. But like, look at what time it is, though. It's only 5:30, and we're supposed to start at 6. So how am I late? You know?" And she would and then it just continued. Every time I went there, "You're late." I'm like, "Yeah, I know I'm late." And so it was just a funny thing we would go back and forth on. And whenever she came down to the main office, I would see her and I would just say, "Carmen, you're late." She's like, "For what?" I'm like, "Well, you're late. You always tell me I'm late, so you're late too." And it was just this funny thing. We would always laugh and joke, and it was a conversation started for us, something very simple that went a long way, that was like something between us that only we had, you know? So it's kind of more of an inside joke that was a funny thing that we would go back and forth on for 4 years, because that's how long I worked there, you know?
Wow.
So, yeah.
You know, it's so special when you make those relationships with people that sometimes when they first, you know, at first you don't know them and it's like, am I being
Yeah.
cool? But then you
Yeah.
have these relationships and it turns into just comedy. And I love that. That's fantastic.
That's just like one small little thing. There's other ones, but that's the one that sticks out to me. That's more of like an inside joke that I would go back and forth on. But you're right. You know, the more you get to know somebody, you know, the more you see their idiosyncrasies and just embrace them, you know, and like, we all have our own little quirks, right? Whether you have a developmental disability or not, we all have our little quirks. And so it's just about embracing it and making the best out of it, and bringing out the best in people through these quirks, you know. And I try not to see when we talk about developmentally disabled, I don't really look at people like that. I just look, we're all going to work on something cool. We're going to work on a common goal. I'm here to do music with you, but it's not just about music. If you can imagine, you know, you can see I love to talk. I will ask people questions. I built such good relationships with people, the individuals we served and supported, because I wasn't just the music guy. I'd go there, I'd eat lunch with them. I'd talk, I'd ask them, how was your weekend? You know, what'd you have for dinner last night? What's your favorite movie? Like, how's your grandma doing? You know, like, and really actually care about the answer. And that would go a long way. That would go a long way with people, you know?
It does. And I love what you're saying. Yesterday, I was in a networking group and they were talking about like, when do you network? Do you only network when you're in these groups or when you go to a meeting? Are you kidding me? I network at the bank. I network at the grocery store. My neighbors. I am like, and one of the ladies said, so it's a lifestyle for you. And it sounds like it's a lot the same for you. It's a lifestyle. I love building relationships. I love the process of walking in somewhere, someone saying, oh, it's Sarah. They know I'm going to be friendly with them. They know that I'm the one person they can count on to get a smile out of. Maybe not these days with a mask on, but out of my eyes at least, right?
Yeah. Well, you can tell in someone's eyes when they're smiling.
So true.
You could tell, yeah. But you're right. Yeah, you're right.
It is so true. No, I agree with you 100%, and then so much funny, so much fun. So I was telling you our little funny story was that our son DJ, is really interested now in the Rick roll, and he will come up to us and never gonna let you go on us, and then you've been Rick rolled and he's out. So it's been the best. In fact,
it's like his own like mic drop, you know. It's like, see ya.
I'm seriously like, I think I'm gonna try to put one in at the end of this video just to make it worth it.
Nice.
A lot of fun. Well, I had such an amazing time talking to you. I want you to tell everybody where they can find your program and your company. So yeah, tell us your website.
Oh, thanks. It was so much fun to spend time with you too. It's always nice to connect with like-minded people, like I said. And so yeah, if you want to learn more about what we do and see some videos and some images and different things, we have our website is keyofawesomemusic.com. So keyofawesomemusic.com, just spelled like how you would normally spell it. You can also go to the .org, and both sites kind of flip to each other. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Facebook and Instagram are Key of Awesome Music. Twitter's just Key Awesome Music because someone had the key of, and I'm not going to try to get into a dispute with them over it. So, but generally we do a lot of things on Facebook and Instagram. I do a daily Facebook Live on Facebook. I've been doing it since the beginning of the pandemic to just stay relevant and to keep on people's minds. And it's something simple. Most of the time it's 5 minutes. When in the height of the pandemic, I was doing more like 30, 45 minutes, but just something fun and positive to put out there in the morning. You know, feel free to reach out to us at, you know, you can reach out at info@keyofawesomemusic.com. That will eventually get to me. But yeah, we're in the process of updating. I'm in the process of updating the website right now with I'm a website guy. So if you go there in the next few weeks or so, you're going to see some changes because we're kind of in the process of updating it to make it look a little sleeker. So
Yeah. I think we're all always up for making our websites better. I know I am too. Oh my gosh, it was so great to have you. I'll make sure to put all those links down in the description so you won't miss a beat. Haha, lovely. Didn't even make that little pun there.
Nice.
Just brilliant minds, right? No, just kidding. It was so great to have you on today. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure that you share this video, and we'll see you around next time. Thanks for joining us.
Kind of guy that keeps you warm at night when you are cold. I'll grab some blankets from my bed, wrap them around your chest, and I'll pull you close. We'll flip some channels to find out there's nothing on right now to ease your mind. Sit back, relax, there is no rush, no need to speed things up. All we have is time to think about the future, forget about the past. Time to figure out a way to make this moment last. To make this moment last. To make this moment last. The kind of love that we've been dreaming of when we sleep at night. We'll get a little house to live in, have a couple kids, and we'll sleep tight. Cause baby, all we really need are just a couple things to stay alive, and everything else in between. Just trust my heart, you'll see we're slowly coming. Time to think about the future, forget about the past. Time to figure out a way to make this moment last. To make this moment last. To make this moment last. Sunrises, sunsets, I won't let you forget that I need you. Spring comes as spring goes, forever you will know that I love you. Sunrises, sunsets, I won't let you forget that I need you. Spring comes as spring goes, forever you will know that I love you.